I'm at the beach in the daylight to photograph the moon. The moon's gonna rise right back here. Where are you? Roughly around this lighthouse, if you can see it. And I'm trying to line it up behind the Morris Island Lighthouse, which is surrounded by water. And I've been using the photographer's ephemeris app to try and predict where I can be. And I've hiked out here, and there are a couple other photographers joining me. So hopefully we'll have some success. Let's start setting up. The moon. Well, it looks like it might not be meant to be. There are what appears to be some low-level clouds on the horizon, and that might be blocking our view of the moonrise. What is here are swarms of no-see-ums. And for those of you who don't know what no-see-ums are, those are swarms of tiny biting gnats. So I have my hoodie on to try and protect myself from those biting gnats. I feel like we should have seen it by now. I'm trying not to be disappointed, but I'm a little disappointed. It's beautiful out here though. It's peaceful, and I can see the dolphins in the water and fish jumping out of the water to avoid the dolphins. I think I see a bright spot in the sky, in the clouds, so maybe you're about to see the moon. And through the magic of editing, I'm at home. Let's talk over the technical aspects. I used a Fujifilm X-T2 and a 50 to 140 millimeter telephoto zoom mated with a 1.4 teleconverter that gives about 300 millimeters in the 35 millimeter full frame sensor space. That's still a little loose for the framing of the lighthouse. What it allowed me to do was frame a horizontal composition so that it could be used for maybe a calendar. But this has been a great setup. It's not terribly large for what it is, but I've used it for everything from college basketball. I've had this covering hurricanes and hurricane force winds and rain, and it's been phenomenal. Now you can shoot a moonrise almost any time, but this night in particular was interesting. 1, it was a full moon. 2, the proximity to the lighthouse. And 3, it was very soon after sunset, so we were hoping that there would be this sort of afterglow effect to give it a dusk vibe rather than a nighttime feel. It was going to be tricky balancing this with the other parameters in the settings. I knew I wanted a fairly low ISO to keep the noise down. I knew I wanted to stop the lens down to maximize the sharpness. The shutter speed was going to be the tricky part. Typically, you want a shutter speed of about a 60th of a second to freeze the moon. It does actually track a little more quickly than you might think, but you can see when I show you the exposures, it varies as I'm fiddling with the shutter speed, trying to see what I can get away with. Initially, I thought the clouds were bad luck, but they actually help soften the highlights from the glow of the moon, and they help give a little texture as well. This helped me get the shutter speed down to a second, second and a half. This also helped me smooth the water some. And to my amazement, as I waited, the moon rose and my tripod was precisely where I needed it. I didn't have to move it an inch. It was almost too good to be true. Yes, that is the photographer in the lower right-hand part of my frame. Now, just because I set up a tripod doesn't necessarily give me this magic right of way to the scene. But when we see that, we tend to respect it. And to this photographer's credit, when I asked them if they could get lower, they tried. But keep in mind, this is in a span of seconds and there are no do-overs. And of course, it's the frame where the moon is in perfect alignment. And when I showed this image to the photographer, they were immediately apologetic. Now, obviously, I would prefer not to have that person in my frame at all, but it could have been much worse. This person could have stepped right in front of the lighthouse. There's still something very salvageable here. To be honest, though, there are a couple of other issues. The lights in the background and the sandbar are kind of distracting. And I don't clone things out of my images. I'll crop, but I won't clone things out. And I would like to end this video with, what crop do you think would work the best? I've tried vertical, I've tried horizontal, I've tried square. And here's the one I ended up sharing on Instagram. So let's end the video. Let me know what crop works the best. I really do hope you'll share what you think. And if you have any other questions, tips, criticisms, please leave those in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.